is not something that you plan for in a marriage. I mean, you might have little issues like a cold or things like that, but when we're talking about illnesses that could potentially end your life, we know that we're not gonna live forever, but it's not something, especially at our young age, that you plan for. Okay, you guys, welcome to another episode of Married in Real Life. And today, our topic is in sickness and in health. What happens when you are married and one of you or both of you unfortunately become ill? Do you stay or do you go? I, of course, was diagnosed with cancer 2 times, and you are currently dealing with cancer, fighting cancer. So my first diagnosis was in 2014, and then again in 2022. I feel like cancer has been a part of my life for a long time. Okay, my mom died at a very young age from ovarian cancer, and that was one of the things that I always prayed that I would never have to face. Simply because I don't remember a lot, but I remember enough about my mama having cancer to see all that she went through, and then knowing that eventually it ended her life. So that was one of the things that I always prayed, like, God, I want to. My mom missed so much. She missed, me and my sister growing up. She missed the grandkids. She missed all the growing pains that her kids went through. And I'm pretty sure that was probably one of the things that she thought about the entire time that she was fighting for her life, is staying here for her kids, what was going to happen with her kids, because we were young. We were 9 and 5. So we were so young. I'm more than sure that she really weighed heavy on her, in addition to what she was already going through, the fact that she was leaving her kids. So that was one of the things that I always prayed that I would never have to face, was any form of cancer, any form. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case for me. I have 4 and B cancer 2 times. So many people close to me have died from cancer, and also, the thought in my head with my mom. So that was one of the things I had to really, really, really stay away from and just focus on me getting through it. So it really does take you being mentally strong. Then in 2023, you being diagnosed with multiple myeloma. And I think we both said the same things. Like, I was more afraid for you than I was for me. I'm gonna let you talk a little bit about your diagnosis and how you felt, and then we can get into the importance of sticking together through good and bad, through sickness and in health. When you take those vows and you hear it, but a lot of times people don't really adhere, because when they're going to get tough, sometimes you go the other way instead of sticking together.
In 2023, I think it was May, June, I was at work, and you know what I do. We used to have to lift these tubs that weigh between 50 and 70 pounds. But I used to do it like it wasn't nothing. That was my one form of me working out. But then one day I wanted to lift something, and I couldn't lift it because my back was hurting. And then over a course of a week, it just kept progressively getting worse. And then I ended up going to the emergency room. They just said I might have sprained a muscle or something, but it never got better. So I went back to the doctor. They X-rayed me, and soon as I went to my doctor for a physical, she sent me to Bon Secure, St. Francis. That's when they let me know that I had multiple myeloma. And since then, I've been going through treatments. Back in January of 2024, I had a stem cell transplant. Well, after that, I just been going through my chemo treatments, been taking my medicine every day, and as of right now, my cancer is in remission.
So you shared it with me, so you can now share it with everybody else how you felt being diagnosed. Because for those of you who do not know, multiple myeloma is a blood and bone cancer. They label it as a terminal illness because there are no cures for it, but you can live with it and be treated for it, which is what Eric is undergoing right now. So, you have had your stem cell transplant, and you went through so much in the last. You don't look
2
nothing
years.
like what you've been going through, because if people saw you or see you, they would never know that you went through all the things that you went through. I do want you to talk a little bit about how it made you feel, how you feel now, and then we're gonna get into the importance of sticking together through rough times.
Well, first, when I heard my diagnosis, I just took it like, all right, this is something I gotta fight to get through. But when I heard yours, that hit me worse than when I heard mine. But you having cancer is like, I felt helpless, like I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't get rid of it for you. So, I mean, to me, that was the hardest part. I was more concerned about you than I was about myself. But going through what I'm going through, I mean, you just gotta be mentally tough. I try not to. Well, I'm gonna put it like this, because you and my mom, y'all can look at me and be like, "What? I can tell he don't feel that good." But at the same time, like I told y'all, no matter what I look like, just know I'm gonna be all right.
I believe that you're gonna be all right, but that doesn't make it you don't have a bad day, and that I can pick up on the fact that you have a bad day.
I mean,
so I know that you are a fighter, so I'm never gonna second guess that, but I still recognize when you are not having the best of a day, you're not feeling good. So there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of what you're going through. But I know that you have and will continue to fight. So that goes without saying. But today we're talking about the importance of sticking with your spouse when they are going through what they're going through, and the importance of having that support system. A lot of people don't do well in those situations, so you need you need a support system when you're going through something like cancer. You definitely need a support system. I can imagine you going through no treatments, all them doctor's appointments, and all the emergency room visits, and you not being able to walk. I can imagine you having to do that by yourself. You trying to remember where you're supposed to be, all the things that you have had to go through while going through my loan. But I just couldn't imagine you going through that by yourself. And I couldn't see myself as just in general. If we were just the best of friends, I just couldn't see myself in general just walking away from you going through something like that. But it happens. A lot of people, because things change. It changes. People going through a lot mentally, and I think that's, outside from the fact that you may physically change. But a person that's undergoing something like that, you got to think of it like the mental impact that it has on them. So they may change. They may snap at the person that's closest to them, and sometimes that could wear a person down. So everybody handles things differently. So if you are married and your spouse, if something like that happens to your spouse, you just gotta hang in there.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, it was so much more than that. Because at the same time, bills don't stop coming. So, you was taking care of me, trying to work, trying to make sure everything in the house was straight. You was trying to make sure the house, far as cleaning up, even doing my job, like cutting the grass and stuff like that. I just couldn't imagine going through this without a partner like you, because I just appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you too. We're supposed to look out for each other.
Yeah.
That helped you. Just knowing that you had, I got solid support. That helped you get through what you were going through. Like I was telling you, I ain't gonna, the day that you got your diagnosis, I said, I'm all in with you. You ain't got to worry. I'm gonna be right here with you. And so every appointment, every doctor visit, they be talking to me like I'm the one that's the patient and not you. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. So, and I feel like it makes you feel better when you do know that you have a support system. For people who walk away, I just couldn't do it.
And like you say, all the stuff that you was doing made it easier for me to just focus on getting better. like I can't say it enough. Like I just appreciate everything you do, everything you did at that time. Because, like you say, some people they would have been like, forget.
You know, I don't know whether some people just can't handle it and they don't know what to do, or some people are just, you know, they just selfish like that. I don't know why you would leave somebody like that, but you got to think that the same thing could happen to you. And you wouldn't want nobody to leave you and allow you to go through nothing by yourself if you didn't have to go through it by yourself. Because that's a lot. What you went through was a lot. Now,
no, you know, what we went through was a lot.
Well, yeah, we went through it, but you had to, you know, if I could fought for you, know, I'd have been in there all pissed in.
Yeah, I know.
But you had to do all that fighting, like, but to have a support system while going through all that you went through, I'm more than sure it made a difference in the fight in you, knowing that okay, I'm not in this fight alone, because you did have to go through a whole bunch of stuff. That I didn't have to go through a quarter of what you went through. When you get married and you take those vows, you have to take those vows seriously. You can't pick and choose what part of the vows you want to honor. You have to honor all of your vows. Because things going to change. You're going to have rough spots. You're going to hit slick spots. You're going to hit patches. You're going to get scuffed up. You're going to go through stuff. So after the wedding is over and everybody went on their separate ways and everything that calmed down, the marriage starts to marriaging. Like they say, life be life, and marriage starts to marriaging. And so you can't pick and choose what parts of your marriage that you want to honor and stand by your spouse with. The vacationing, and it's all cute when we go out, and you know, our matching outfits and whatever else you do that's cute and fun. Because when it get rough, you gotta have somebody that you know gonna stick in there with you. And I think, you know, and if you don't, you just set yourself up for, you know, it's trouble waiting to happen. And nobody wants to feel like they don't have a support. It's like being married but still feeling like you're single. And people go through that. You know, I don't got time to go to the doctor. You figure I'm not gonna take all the way to go with you to the doctor. I literally shut my business down because I didn't care nothing about that business. It was about you getting yourself together, because it wouldn't have meant nothing to me if you wasn't gonna be here to share it with me.
Like I said, I just appreciate everything. But like you said, you didn't have to do it. But when you shut your business down to come home and make sure I was good, that just gave me a little bit more to fight that much harder.
Yeah, you needed it.
Yeah,
you needed it, because you know, again, we go back to what Reverend Thompson said. Sometimes one of y'all gonna be able to get more than the other. So that was one of the times where I had to do the 99 and you had the 1%. Your 1%, you was fighting to stay here with me. So, you know, I ain't have a problem with the 99%. As long as that meant that you was going to still be here to have these conversations. So I didn't have a problem with them. It goes without saying. And I know for sure that if the tables were turned, you would do the exact same thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Without a shadow of a doubt. The exact same thing. So you need that when you're going through stuff. People don't realize it. And even if it's not a sickness issue, we're talking about sickness, but people go through all types of things. Women go through things, men go through things. Y'all might not verbalize it as much as we do, but y'all go through things just like we do. And you need to be able to have that support one way or the other. Y'all human just like we are. But as far as going through illnesses and, you know, things that's gonna change at some point, you gotta feel like I got somebody that's gonna be right there with me. And that's not going to turn that back on me and make me feel like I'm a burden to them or none of that. You gotta feel you can't be there making the person feel like they're a burden to you either. You know, because that ain't helpful.
No,
right?
That'll make it worse.
Yeah. Because you know I was on your tail. Get on up, let's go. We're gonna ride this thing out. We're gonna tough it out together. So that meant a lot to you. It helped you, you know. And then you gotta, as a spouse, you gotta be strong. When you're the support system, you gotta be strong. Even when you want to get in a knot and ball up and cry, you gotta be strong.
Even going through all that, just your encouragement, like you say, just being there, it just gave me more reason to fight. And then, you know, we got clowns for kids. Our daughter told me I couldn't go nowhere because she couldn't
handle me.
She couldn't handle you by herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she told me I had to stay here
That's right.
to be her buffer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you done spoiled her, so she need a buffer. She need her buffer to stay here.
Just
a little bit, whatever.
Just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but I thank God that we both still here.
Still fighting.
Still, that's right.
But then, and going through what you went through, going through what I'm going through, it just lets you know that life is short.
Yeah.
And you gotta live life to the fullest.
Yes, you do.
Don't put off going on vacation, going to see somebody, calling somebody. Do it. Go ahead and do it. Because you don't never know, when is your time.
You don't know. You do not know. God is good. I'm thankful. And I know that you have fought. You're going to keep on fighting, that you're going to be fine. So we ain't going to worry about that. But I'm glad that our marriage is where it is. And I'm glad, that we are able to talk about these things and talk through these things and share with other people the importance of sticking together when you are going through things, especially with sickness. Because if somebody is sick, they are weak. And they need you. That's what your strength got to kick in. That's when you got to put in that extra work. And sometimes people don't want to do that, but that's when you got to do it the most. So you just got to stick in there and do your part and be an encouragement to your spouse. That's all I have to say. So we thank you guys for joining this episode of Married in Real Life.